Hello everyone, it's Sunday afternoon and it's 70 degrees here in northeastern Wisconsin and it's a beautiful day. I got out for a little while today to rake and to clean our car, and I've been delaying on showing you my Fauxbo because this has been a very tough month for me, and if you're seeing this you know I got through the video, but it's going to be a hard one. So but it's my life and I want to share it. And I especially want to thank the cards and the thoughts that I got from the Fauxbo group on Facebook. I really appreciate it. Anyway, so if you don't want to watch something that's sad and depressing, you can turn off this video because that's what it's going to be. First of all, at the beginning of the month, I noticed my Fauxbo was starting to rip from my cover. So I figured that it was because I was trying to, I had reinforcements on the cardstock glued to the cover, and before I put it into my Fauxbo cover, but from, you know, opening and shutting it, opening and shutting it, it was starting to tear. So I figured that I would put this away for my real Fauxbo that I'm going to get next year, and save this and then just treat this little baby with kid gloves until comes the time. And my dear granddaughter decided that it needed some stuff on it, so she got her stickers and started playing with it. I had no idea. I have my pen holder here where I put a micron pen, and that's what I like to use because it's waterproof and it stays really well. I'm going to do this from the month of March through April 2nd, and you will find out why later. Let's see, where are we here? So please forgive me if my voice gets shaky. It's going to be a hard thing, but it's going to be a good thing that I get it out. Anyway, first of the March was a Sunday, and it was very cold, 27 high, low 7, wind chill advisory, but it was sunny out. So I felt that it was like a cold lamb. Excuse me. I have also developed the cold, so please forgive me. I'm sorry. Now I wanted to find out where that came from, and it was lore from the in like a lamb, out like a lion, or vice versa. And it was lore from early American settlers about the changeable month of March, and basically it could have to do with the constellations being Aries and begins to rise, and then Leo is crossing toward the meridian. So as Leo marches away, Aries begins to rise. So that might be where that came from. Excuse me again. Oh man, I got it bad this month. Anyway, March 2nd was the day. If you remember, I did not go to my Barry concert because of the weather, and so I wrote that he was playing his last concert in Milwaukee, and I was waving goodbye to him because I did not go. The next day, it was 28 and 0. We got 2 inches of snow, so I wanted to paint a little bit of flowers, and had a lot of cabin fever. So then I started to think about what we had coming up for the summer, and we're going to be going to Toronto for my son's wedding, and he lives in Dubai with his girlfriend, and her family lives in Toronto, so we're going to Canada, and I've got a bunch of stuff to get you know, ready for that. So I thought about thinking about better things. The wind chill was -20 on March 4th. It's just like January weather, whatever. I wanted to talk about the pens that I got for Christmas from my dear Bob, and he gave me a Lammy Joy calligraphy pen and a beautiful TWSBI rose gold, and I was busy cleaning them, and then a Lammy All-Star blue green, and so I was working on that day. Then the next day, it was Friday the 6th, and we warmed up to 32 degrees, and it was sunny, and then it was supposed to be 50 degrees the next week, so I was very happy about that. And it was still cold, so I really love coffee with cream, and it's also a hand warmer. And I hope that my husband feels good to be able to enjoy the warm weather soon. Sunday the 7th, I went to the grocery store and bought a whole bunch of good foods to eat, and it was also spring ahead, so we lost the hour. And I went to Marinette and got my husband out of the house, but by the time we got halfway there, it's 40 miles away one way, so he wasn't feeling very well. And I did my February flip video, and then I was going to plan on giving little Mr. Boomer a bath. Next day, Sunday day, it was International Women's Day, and I was busy. I was doing everything. And shaved Bob and washed his hair and cleaning, and I did Copic work, and I made bacon. My husband has not been eating. The last real meal he ate was February 14th, and after that he has not been eating. So I made a whole pound of bacon in hopes that that would help him feel like eating. He thought that he was having some GERD problems or acid reflux, and so he really cut down on his eating drastically. Monday, March 9th, I'm busy working on my weight loss, and I lost 1.6 pounds. I'm writing down all my food, and so that's helping. And got some pills for the dog, and did my blood test, and I felt like I was coming down with a cold, and got some Happy Meal, and then this is the day that I took off my Hobonichi jacket. So it says on Tuesday, March 10th, a week ago, the wind chills were -20. Now it's 52 at 10 p.m. Welcome to Wisconsin. Found out from this one person I've been watching her videos, Dee Dee Willingham. She is a very talented artist in all sorts of different directions, and she was talking about Google Images and how many things that you can find out there. So if you're looking for reference photos or whatever to look at to see what something looks at, go there, Google Images. It's beautiful. I did some figure drawing in my sketchbook, and then I made Linda McCartney's asparagus, and here's the little recipe. It's very, very easy. If you'd like it, I'll send it to you. Send me an email and I will send it to you. Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney of the Beatles' former wife. So that was really good. I was so happy to find asparagus in the store. Wednesday, March 11th, I was starting to hear birds singing outside. They were very happy. It was 57. It was beautiful. And my friend down in Carrboro, whose name is Nancy, called me, and we had a 2-hour phone conversation, and it was just like she was sitting across the room from me, so it was really nice. I made a bowl of tuna salad with macaroni in it for Bob, and he ate about half of that for dinner. So I'm trying to make him all of his favorite things so that he eats. I started getting a cold. It was starting to creep up on me, and so then I pound down the vitamin C, and I stayed inside. I drank cough syrup, and just sitting like a lump, and then I heated up my bed buddy to sleep with him at night. It's something goes in the microwave. I put a little face on it. Friday, March 13th, I was busy with work, moving paper from here to there, and I was off in the afternoon, and so I did some stuff, chores around the house, and was helping Bob with things, and I did some artwork in the afternoon, and the snow was receding. This is like a little scene from right outside my house, so you can start seeing all of the dead bushes and things, and the snow is going away. Thank goodness. Saturday, March 14th, I got some happy mail from my sister. She made me a St. Bridget's cross, and she learned how to do that on YouTube, which is awesome. I've converted somebody else and a YouTube university, and I practiced some of my Irish songs. I got some pencil boards in the mail from Corey, and I was drinking some oolong tea at night because I was not feeling so well, and it was also pie day, but no pie for me. Sunday, March 15th, Saturday I had gone to the store, and I took my passport photo anyway. It really didn't look like me. It looked like I was Ma Barker. All I needed was a cigar. Oh, I must have been that day I went out. Because I said shopping for RX, and a doll for Kiana, and I left my hubby home, and then the lights went out while I was gone, so there was no computer for him or no TV, so we talked on the phone. And here's some images that were on Corey's notes from my happy mail. She made me some boards. Monday, March 16th, we had gentle rain, and I changed I finally with the help of Nancy, convinced Bob to go to the doctor. He was supposed to go on April 2nd, and we said that he was not eating, he needs to go. I said his whole food for today was a can of Coke, a bottle of Ensure, 2 spoonsful of tuna salad, and he's wasting away. He's losing a lot of weight. So he finally decided to go, so I fixed him up, changed his clothes, and then I did well with my eating, but I'm supposed to be eating less, not him. Watched GH, and I had bought my little corned beef deli thing. Going to have it for St. Patty's Day the next day. So I got Bob into the doctor. We went down to Green Bay, and they took some tests, and they just took some blood, and they sent us home, and they told us, that he should be drinking more Ensures. He can drink 3 of them a day. So I went to the store and bought some, and the lady, after the doctor, and then the lady automatically gave me senior discount because I probably look like so wretched, but I'm 61, so whatever. But I sure don't, I don't really want to be given a senior discount automatically. So I said it's time for Lady Clairol. I fixed my little Irish dinner. I had gotten a couple of slices of the corned beef, and I made, instead of cabbage, I made Brussels sprouts and a little bit of mashed potatoes, so that was good enough for me. But on the way home, Bob was like, by the time we got home from Green Bay, which is an hour-and-a-half drive, he was sopping wet, and I was worried that I made the wrong mistake by taking him to the doctor's instead of the ER. So I was up worrying until 2 a.m. Also, my daughter called me, and she said that my middle grandchild asked her why she doesn't make him big breakfasts like Grandma does. And so she wanted to know what the heck I was doing with the kids for Christmas, that they thought that they were getting big breakfasts. And I'm like, well, I don't even know. But I did have a number of frozen pancakes to get rid of because Bob was not eating them and they don't stay very well. So I gave them frozen pancakes like 3 days in a row with sausages and yogurt. And so that must be what he was. But I just thought that that was just so cute that he thought that, you know, I was doing something special for him. And they were frozen pancakes. Oh my God. Anyway, the next morning, I am so tired because I did not sleep. Drank a whole pot of coffee before 9:30. Then I decided to look at my little TWSBI pad and unscrew it with ink in it. And so I got off full of ink. And, you know, it's just, when I don't sleep, I can't think. And so I got a new copier. I told Bob, I said, tomorrow, you know, I gave him this day of rest, and tomorrow we're going to the hospital. And we watched together, this is the last show that we watched together, was the Sound of Music 50th anniversary, and it was just, it's my favorite movie of all time, and it was so special that I watched it with him. Anyway, Thursday we went to I took him back down to Green Bay, and we went to the ER, and the first thing that they told us was that Bob has fluid on his lungs, and that it could be either from his rheumatoid arthritis, which I call RA, or which he's had since he was 30, or it could be cancer. So we were sitting in the ER, and he's telling me, number one, you know, that, okay, if it's cancer, he's going to try to fight it. And I said, yes, I'm going to fight with you. Number two, that he wanted to have our oldest grandson up for the whole summer to teach him stuff, and that he was going to write his book and have me type it, because he lost so much coordination with his hands that he couldn't write anymore. So I said, fine, you know, let's do it. But, you know, hearing the C word is very, very hard. And I wasn't married to him. You know, I wasn't with him my whole life. I had a really bad marriage. The man almost killed me, but I got out when I was 30, and then I met Bob in my 40s, and he was the love of my life. The next day they put the chest tube in, or they did that night, and then they had gotten out like 2 liters of fluid on his chest. But why didn't the doctors hear that on Tuesday? That's my question. He went downstairs and had an endoscopy to see why he wasn't eating, why he was having so much reflux. I ran home because I had left the dog, the cat, everybody, you know, at home, and I stayed overnight with Bob. I usually do that to help him, and so that he's not calling the nurses all night. I'll get up and I'll give him something to drink, or I'll fix him you know, put a new blanket on him, or whatever he needs. So he usually sleeps in his wheelchair anyway because he can maneuver it better. He can't punch the buttons on the bed, so I sleep in the bed, he sleeps in the wheelchair. Anyway, when I went home, I remembered this book that he had gotten me for 2013 Christmas, and he spoils me rotten. I'll tell you that right now. He has spoiled me rotten over the past 16 years. Anyway, it was full of this beautiful handmade paper. And like many of you that get beautiful, beautiful gifts like that, what do we do with them? We put them on the shelf. We don't want to wreck them. And then he told me when I opened up the present that he was anxious to see what I did with the book. And I finally figured out what I wanted to do with it was go down and and when I went home to get my clothes, I got my bag of art supplies and I put some gouache in there. This watercolor would work with that because it was kind of like a brownish type of paper, so gouache will sit on top of it and it'll look really well. Anyway, I wanted to do a bird a day book. I figured that we were going to have enough time to get through the whole book. And so I told Bob what I wanted to do, and I apologized for not working, using it, but he already knew how I was. He knew that the things that he gave me were precious, and that I didn't want to wreck them, didn't want to lose them, didn't want to use them. And so he gave me up until March 31st what he wanted for his birds. He taught me all the bird songs. He taught me identification, and he was very much a naturalist, and it really helped me learn different things, about birds and about wildlife and nature and everything. He taught me so many things in the past 16 years. So I started doing the bird book, and when I get it done, I'll do a flip through. And I said, what am I going to do without him? And here's his hat from the Wildlife Turkey Federation. He loved being the president of that. Anyway, Saturday, first day of spring. Procedures and options. And what if I don't like any of them? So, the gynecologist came in and told us that the endoscopy that they did yesterday was most likely cancer of the esophagus. And there's a 50-50% chance of living for 5 years with this. But with Bob's bad health, with his rheumatoid arthritis, and that's why he's in the wheelchair, it was going to be probably less than that. But we are trying, we're going to keep a positive attitude because that's what, works. And he never has had a bad attitude before with anything, even though he lost so many of his functions of being able to live. So, I basically cried here and, how am I going to live without him? And I can't believe this is happening to us. And he's in a lot of pain right now, and he's still not eating. He's even eating less. So Sunday, and Saturday night, I forgot to write this in here. I don't even know if I did or not. Oh, I did. My violin teacher came up, and we talked, and we laughed, and it was so good to talk about other things and try to, have a positive spin. And she was so happy that she was able to come up and visit us at the hospital. So, it was a hard night. Bob had tried to eat too much to try to get food down him, and by eating, meaning chicken broth and sugar, ice cream, juice. So he was sick all night long. And we got him up on the Hoyer. You have to pick him up with almost like a machine type of engine type of a thing, to where you pick up the person, and then, we got him dressed and everything, me and the nurses, so he would be more comfortable. Excuse me. So we had a quiet day, and we still hadn't heard anything. And I was so worried about tomorrow, what was tomorrow going to come, because that was the day that we were supposed to find out. I didn't want tomorrow to come. Monday, Bob didn't sleep well. We both were up until 2:30 in the morning. He's taking it all better than me. It's just a number, he says. I needs to find out how to get more nutrition in him. Therapy dog came up and visited him, and it was really cute. He enjoyed it. The dog jumped up on it. The doctor came in and said that the pathology hasn't been in, so we were really hoping that, you know, they were going to diagnose him and let us go home. So I wanted to go. I had to get some stuff at Hobby Lobby for my son's wedding invitation. So I ran over there real quick while we were in Green Bay, and then came back. And he wasn't doing well when I got back, and I got him up to move him around. And then that's when the dog came in to see him. He's still not mad. He's still not eating, and he's getting perturbed at me for pestering. I did my bird of the day for him that day, and it was a cardinal. And I asked him if it was too cartoony, and he said no, it's perfect. And he always thought everything I did was perfect, except for pestering him. He hadn't told any of his family yet, and I told him, I said, you better tell him, you know. He wanted to wait till the final diagnosis is, and I said, no. I said, you better tell him. So I called his brother and his sister-in-law, and I asked them to tell everybody else for the family, so they said that they would. And I said, I am your biggest fan, Robert D. LaHill. So Tuesday, they came in and they did another biopsy, this time on his neck. They were worried about the cancer had gone into his lymph nodes. And the doctor said, he came in and he said, I wish I had something better to tell you, but this doesn't look good. It looks pretty bad at this point. And Bob went to sleep after the biopsy, and when he woke up, he was no longer there. He couldn't remember why he was in the hospital. He couldn't remember why he couldn't go home. He didn't remember he had cancer. I thought he had a stroke, but now I know that his body was just shutting down. And so I was very worried, and I wanted all the tests to be done about stroke, and, you know, and basically he could do everything, you know, like smile or put his hands together or whatever they do. I don't even remember now. I was in such a fog. But he only had a few more lucid moments that day and the next. But one thing he told me was that he wanted me to find somebody else. Oh yeah, that's right on my list of things to do, Bob. No, it's not. He told me I was stronger than what I thought. And I told him that it was his strength, his belief in me that made me strong. Wednesday, his mental state never cleared up. The doctor came in when I was out, and he said, when I came in, Bob said so matter-of-factly, I have cancer, it's esophageal and lymph node, and I have 6 months to live. I told the nurse that I wanted to talk to the doctor, and, you know, they came in later and said, they said, okay, this is what he told me, but he's not in his right state of mind. What's the real facts? So the doctor told me that she would be surprised if he lasted a week. So my daughter brought the kids up, my grandchildren up to see him, and Bob fist bumped the boys, and so he knew that they were there. I told him that I loved him, and I kissed him all over his face. Later, he became very agitated, and excuse me, I need to get a tissue here. He became very agitated, and said, I want to go home. I want to go home. I said, you can't, Bob. You're hooked up to a machine. You can't go home. And he just kept on, you know, moving back and forth and back and forth, back and forth. And so I was afraid that he was going to do something and drive off in his wheelchair because he was not, you know, in his right mind. And so I fixed up his wheelchair so he couldn't do that. And all he could do was adjust his, you know, feet up, feet down, back up, back down, but he couldn't go anywhere. And I told him, I said, you go to sleep, honey, and we'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm going to take the kids to the hotel. And he was happy with that. And everybody said goodbye to him. And within the hour, he died. So I came back to the hospital and I said my goodbyes to him. And did everything I needed to do for his corneas to be donated. And I'm just in a state of shock at this point, and I still am. The next day, my sister and my brother-in-law came up to the hotel that we were staying at in Green Bay. And my daughter was staying at, and now I'm staying there. And it just didn't seem right. It just seemed like I should be going over there, picking up Bob, and going home. And I found his spoon in my purse. He still used this camping spoon because it had screws in it to screw on to the little mess kit, and that helped him know where his hand was to be able to, you know, eat. So Friday we were going to have to go home, so I wanted to pick up something new for his funeral. And we had pizzas with the kids. They were playing in the pool. And my brother-in-law ordered pizzas. So then Friday we go back home. I have an empty wheelchair that I'm taking back in my van. And all Bob's things. And part 2 of things that I never thought I would have to do. Part 1 was miss a Berry concert. Part 2 is even 100 times worse, 1,000 times worse. Plan a funeral. So I ordered some flowers, and I wanted wildflowers since he was such an outdoor person. And gave my obituary writing. And then we went home, got some groceries, and my sisters were cleaning because this has been a horrible winter for me with my foot being broken and then Bob being sick. I have not done a whole lot of cleaning, and so they were like little white tornadoes going all over the house. And Bob's family brought a pot of chili, and there were flowers waiting for me from the ranch. And I talked a lot about stories about, you know, the different things that Bob and I did over the years, and that kind of comforted me. Next day, my sister made a big casserole, and then we had to go to the funeral home for pictures, to bring pictures for the paper and for the little prayer cards. Then on Sunday, we went to, me and my sister, other sister, went to Walmart. My sister and her husband, Sue and John, went home. They had to go back to work, but Carol is going to stay with me for the whole week. And I'm so glad and thankful that she did. And so we went to Walmart to get some pictures printed and buy some frames to put at the funeral. And then I went into my office with her because I work from my house, and my office is in the front of the house, and there were a bunch of boxes, and I thought I'd dig through the mail. Well, there was a present there from Bob that was back ordered, a Christmas present. Pioneer Girl, about the autobiography of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And, you know, it was just, he was just spoiled me just horribly. We went out and had a cup of soup for dinner. And I read something about destination addiction, about being preoccupied about the future. I was looking forward so much to the future when I didn't have to work anymore and was able to take care of Bob full time and do whatever we wanted to full time. And I was looking so forward to my retirement that maybe I didn't appreciate everything that I had right at my face. I kept on looking toward, instead of loving what I had, or looking toward the future, instead of living in the moment. So, got some more flowers the next day. Carol had to work from, my sister had to work, so she set up in my office, and I was basically just answering condolences. Bob's brothers came and got his family's guns, which were his father's and his grandfather's. I found a beautiful poem the next day that I'm going to read at his funeral. And it says, "May the stars carry your sadness away, may the flowers fill your heart with beauty, and may hope forever wipe away your tears, and above all, may silence make you strong." And I felt that that was, you know, Bob's message to me. Next day, I wrote his eulogy. I don't believe in people giving eulogies that do not know the person, so I felt that that was my job. I did it for my mother 4 years ago, and I will do it for my Bob. And I painted the flowers in my journal. And my other sister, this was Wednesday, April 1st, my other sister came back up for the funeral because it's April 2nd. And I was busy talking with her, and I burnt the crap out of the pizza like I have in so many times past. And I think that Bob was laughing at us from heaven because he's saying, "See what I had to go through?" But usually it wasn't because I was talking, it was because I'm either drawing or playing my fiddle or whatever, that I forget about things. Excuse me. So I ate cereal and Carol ate something else. I don't even remember what. So Tuesday is the funeral, and the guy that runs the golf course here, he said that he's been to like 4 or 5 funerals, and this year alone, and he said this one was the most beautiful and most heartfelt. He couldn't believe that I got up there and talked, and I said, well, it was my present to Bob. And the wildflowers were all around his urn, and I hope he liked it and he heard from heaven. And there's my broken heart. So that was my month. I'm sorry to be blubbering. It's just been 2 weeks ago. Or no, that's just a week, a little over a week. And 2 weeks since he died. So it's going to be a long time. We were very close together for 16 years. We lived up here by ourselves, and I had the time of my life with Mr. Robert. So hopefully April will get a little bit better. I work through my grief and work through being alone, and start moving on with my life. So I thank you so much for listening to me, my blubbering. And thank you again, everybody in the Fauxbo group, for your card and your thoughts. I really appreciate it. And I've enjoyed, you know, watching some videos. I haven't really gotten back into the video watching mode yet, but I will. Bob wanted me to continue in my art, and I will do so, no matter what. So thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. And I hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday. Thank you. Bye-bye.